Hi there, and welcome to Celeb Hut. So, it seems that what is happening with Diddy simply goes more profound than we might have at any point envisioned on the grounds that Jaguar Wright is emerging to uncover. That Diddy has been terrible for a long time as per Jaguar. Diddy was supposedly mishandled by his mother as a youngster, and this makes sense of why he appears to hurt women so much. Purportedly, he has some really dreadful relationship with his mother, where she supposedly assists him with concealing his real essence and urges him to abuse ladies. The wild part here is that there are new charges about Diddy's relationship with his mother, and his previous protector Gene Bargan just emerged to uncover that Diddy put hands on his own mom and left her messed up like his ladies. You all need to get in on this tea, but it will be a wild ride. Did his mother truly release the gassy video to CNN? I said, Kirk. Let me let you know something I said. Kirk, don't you recollect when I let you know when he cussed his mom out? And I think he was even that cur. When we was getting in limousine, he cussed his mom out. He advised his mom to remain out of his mofo business. And I let him know, man, you at any point converse with your mom, you all... It seems as though we Blade have a few responses on Diddy's way of behaving and why he is how he is, 'cause he screwed up big time, despite the fact that he was sorry and has been going far beyond to attempt to persuade us that he isn't the miscreant that we saw, that he is yet with these new claims and disclosures even. He can't reject that he is essentially as awful as we suspect. Curiously, however, Cassie was the person who began what was going on with her claim in November last year, and she is the person who was finishing it in November last year. She strikingly emerged to confront Diddy and documented a claim where she uncovered him for abusing her for each and every year, and darn close today of the 11 years that they were dating you all. As of now, you couldn't call it dating since it was to a greater degree a prisoner circumstance. Cassie attempted to leave the excruciating relationship on numerous occasions, yet Diddy held her powerless to resist him and wouldn't let her leave. Diddy and Cassie initially began dating when she was just 19, and he was a ways into his A3USE by then. Now that was at that point a warning, however it deteriorates when you understand that she was endorsed to his name, Terrible Kid Records. So notwithstanding him being way more established than her, he likewise was somewhat her chief, and that exploded it from being a major warning to being a whole red flag. Now I realize that the age-hole connections aren't generally that terrible, however this one was a train wreck. Since, like I said, let Cassie tell. It was a prisoner circumstance in Cassie's claim. She laid out how gravely he hurt her in the relationship, and from what she said plainly, she was miserable and in torment. All through the relationship, the court reports were in excess of 30 pages long, and it had a trigger admonition on the principal page. Now, if you all have a ton of insight into court reports, it's that they frequently contain a wide range of wild and insane subtleties, so it's wild The court authorities believed that Cassie's portrayal of the manner in which Diddy treated her was terrible to such an extent that it required a trigger admonition. The trigger admonition was most certainly required in light of the fact that the things that Cassie framed were most certainly setting off the G archives, which said that he, Miss Venture, in her own home, after she attempted to leave him, frequently punched, kicked, and puzzled Miss Venture, bringing about wounds, burst lips, bruised eye, and draining force. Miss Venture to take part in personal demonstrations with male SWS while getting off on it and recording the experiences requested that Miss Venture convey his arm in her satchel just to make herself conscious and show how risky he is, and acquaint Miss Venture with a way of life of over-the-top liquor and substance, and required her to get illegal remedies to fulfill his own addictions. The claim additionally uncovered that Diddy to put his hands on her for each minor explanation. Like when they were going home after a party with Jay-Z, in the claim it said, Mr. Combs, Miss Venture over and over in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her, he constrained her out of the vehicle on 5th Road in New York City. She was in the end ready to damnation a taxi and get to her loft in Manhattan. There's likewise the time that Diddy flew off the handle at her for attempting to address a muse, IC maker in a club, since she was attempting to take her vocation to a higher level. Diddy blew up that. When they left the club, Mr. Calm, Miss Venture driving her into a side of the vehicle and puzzling all over at the point when the vehicle showed up at Mr. Coles's home. Miss Venture endeavored to take off. Mr. Colmes followed her and continued to again kick her in the face. Miss Venture was draining plentifully and was guided into Mr. Calm's home, where she started to hurl from the occurrence now separated fry. On putting hands on her, he likewise went far beyond to control her well, simultaneously going far beyond to conceal his awful way of behaving from the world, since he didn't believe individuals should understand what sort of individual he truly was. In the background, he hit Cassie so seriously that she began to encounter issues with her memory, yet that actually didn't make him stop the reports on different events. Mr. Colmes had Miss Venture's very own clinical records sent straightforwardly to his email address. For example, when Miss Venture started encountering cognitive decline, possibly because of exorbitant medication use or head wounds brought about by Mr. Colmes's beatings as portrayed underneath her X-ray results, they were given straightforwardly to Mr. Colmes. Mr. Colmes likewise over and over again set up for his staff to drive Miss Dare to specific regular checkups. Cassie was not by any means the only lady who he treated so gravely on the grounds that, incidentally, he was treating each and every one of his exes similarly, as seriously as he did Cassie. And I'm not, in any event, looking at cheating, since everyone realizes that Diddy was throwing it across town with practically no regret, except for the fact that I'm discussing the actual brutality that he doled out to his exes without kindness. For instance, when he was with his absolute first child, Misa Hilton, he was madly rough towards her, and he would put hands on her at each smallest issue. He even put hands on her out in the open with his previous protector. Jean Bargain discussed when Diddy put hands on Misa so gravely that she attempted to conceal herself under a vehicle. She was out there screwing with the fella from EPMD. That is the reason the first puff initially beat her, but currently, do you all have terrible expertise? This present circumstance must be for Misa to have attempted to stow away and crush herself under a vehicle, and I could go on and on all day about how he purposely denied paternity to their child. Justin, to make sure he could demonstrate hatred for her despite the fact that he was the person who was being savage towards her, and going behind her back with around 50% of the ladies in Hollywood. Then we have Kim Dorman, who has 4 children. It was a similar story with Kim on the grounds that he frequently hit her and left her with wounds all over her body, like the time he broke her nose during a confrontation. Additionally, there's this article from 2005 about the occasion saying Diddy's better half Kim Dorman was left with a wrecked nose after a couple contended on Cum's yacht in Saint-Tropez. Colmes flew in an expert plastic specialist from Geneva after the mishap. Watchman has since guaranteed that she hurt her face after she hit her nose against a table, destruction that he kept on messing him up. And there are new claims that he purportedly constrained her to lick Cassie's pre-owned tampon that is a completely separate degree of satanic evilness for some setting. There was somewhat of a crossover among Cassie and Kim, where Diddy kept Cassie as a side piece. However, at that point, you all memorable need that Cassie was a casualty, while Kim was ultimately Kim begun retaliating at Diddy and Jean. Bargain uncovered that she contended energetically, one night, when they were at home at Kim's home on 110 Tiet Road, he needed to, put his hands on her in the incorrect manner, and Kim took one of those court botches and tore his wrist and hit a course, and when she did that, he needed to rush over to St. Luke's Medical Clinic. However, that is not all his other sweetheart Gina Hume likewise approached, uncovering mistreatment by Diddy. At the outset, like the initial 3 and 1, 2 years, the initial multi-month, 3 to 4 months, he was truly pleasant. However, at that point, after that, he had begun being a daimyo. So, like I say, like the initial 3.5 years, he was like malicious toward me. So when you say mean, depict it. He resembled continuously putting down me, and consistently, he was like intellectually, sincerely, and actually a boost me did. It's not whenever we first heard that. There was an episode, obviously, with Cassie, where correspondents are saying that the police were called on the grounds that A got into a fight this, I think it was like 2 or a long time back. Everything being equal, let me know a portion of the things that he would agree to. He would continuously contrast me with Cassie and let me know that I'm the terrible one and she's a decent one. And he was with both of you folks simultaneously, better believe it. And she likewise guaranteed that she had gotten pregnant with this child 2 times, yet he constrained her to dispose of it. You said that, things had gotten so serious that you became pregnant not once, yet 2 times, right? Yes, okay. Whenever you first became pregnant with a Diddy's kid, the initial time was, October 2014. Okay, so this resembled what, a year after, no, not a year, but rather because I met him in February, and afterward I got pregnant in October, quite a similar that very year. Okay, and, you mind letting me know what occurred with that pregnancy? Well, I told him, and he was like, you will get a fetus removal, right? And afterward, I resembled, I don't know, I don't have the foggiest idea yet, and afterward, he offered me $50,000 to dispose of it, yet I turned it down on the grounds that I just simply cherished him. Subscribe Celeb Hut for more videos.